you?
I'm good. Thanks for coming out. Appreciate it.
Thank you
I know it's
for having me on.
I know it's a little bit of a drive coming down here, but
Yeah,
worth
couple
it,
hours.
right?
Yeah, fuck yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
So I'm sporting your gear.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
We got the fuck fentanyl going on here.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
So fuck fentanyl San Diego. That's
Yeah.
where you're from.
Yes, I grew up there all my life.
Okay, so born and raised.
Born and raised.
What area?
Chula Vista.
Okay.
I moved out of Chula Vista when I first got sober
Uh-huh.
because I didn't want to be in the old neighborhoods anymore.
Yeah.
So I was out in the Campo region, and then I went, which is like kind of like East County, but like deep East County, like the last stop before you hit like the Arizona route.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I lived there, and then I lived in City Heights for a few years. But now I'm back home, back in Chula Vista.
Nice. And you're there to stay.
Here to stay.
Yeah.
Yes.
How's it working out with the clothing line out there?
Pretty well. And ironically though, in Chula Vista, where I lived all my life, there's not too much fuck fentanyl. It's because I kind of did that purposely though. I stayed out of the mix because I was so deep into my shit and just deep into all the drug scenes and the low lives and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I really didn't want nothing to do with that. So everything when I lived in Chula Vista is point A to point B. I see my family. I go to work.
Yeah.
And
Is it really bad out there? The drug problem?
Oh yeah.
In that area?
Oh yeah.
What's the main thing people are doing out there?
Fentanyl. 100%. It used to be the black tar heroin. That's my drug of choice.
Uh-huh.
And but fentanyl took over the scene of that opiate. So you could still find heroin, but for the most part, fentanyl is what you're gonna find in the streets. And yeah, it's everywhere. It's really really bad. Especially if you go by like the trolley stations by the 5 freeway, you'll see it. Like it's
the homeless encampments.
a lot.
Yeah.
It got so bad. The city of Chula Vista. There's a place called Welfare Park. Very appropriate.
Yeah.
It's where the welfare office is on off Palmar, and and that's the street I currently live on.
Yeah.
It got so bad. The city of Chula Vista had to like shut that park down because so much homeless, so much crime, so much drugs, and this is all near a school.
Yeah.
It got really really bad. So now like they closed this whole encampment down. And now, like, there's just homeless people kind of scattered now. The city of San Diego has a really bad homeless situation as well in downtown. And they're starting to get rid of them. And the thing is, you can't really, like, they still need a place to go. So they're just going.
It's so sad. I mean, obviously we deal with it up here too. And it's just like, okay, but where do they go?
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, where do they go? And a lot of the people that are homeless, and not speaking for everybody, but a lot of them don't want to go into the housing and want the help. I mean, they want to be on the streets. They're addicted to drugs.
Some of them, Some of them, that's
and
their
it's
life.
really sad. Like they have such severe mental health problems that, they're not thinking rationally. They don't know how to even think, okay, how am I going to get off the street? So when they're asked, it's like, no, I'm good here. This is just what I want to do.
That's absolutely true. They're just comfortable living like that.
Right.
They don't want to take those steps to get in their life together. It's just they're just fine with where they're at.
Yeah. So when did you start the Fuck Fentanyl clothing line?
Last year.
Year.
I started to make the first box in July, and I think after that we made an Instagram page and we started wearing the clothes at my meetings that I was going to. And it kind of just, that's kind of how it kind of started. It just started with a box of clothes, we all paid for what it cost to make them. And then, it just kind of really, really blew up very, very fast. Like, to like one box to multiple boxes, bigger boxes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Thing.
can imagine it would just take off. And it seems like it's catching steam. People are doing it in different areas, counties, states now too. So bringing awareness is what we need.
Yeah.
I mean, what is your end goal with the company? Like, what's the vision? What are you trying to do exactly?
I was just telling this to somebody. I just want to spread the message. If
Uh-huh.
I can do it like in every state in this country, particularly because fentanyl is hitting America, I feel like the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up near Mexico. I grew up like 2-3 miles down from TJ, and obviously they've been very, very affected. Like if you ever go to that, go down there, there's tons of drugs and tons of fentanyl, and it's sad because they don't really have the resources. But like here in America, it's just it has its waves for sure. I've seen like certain parts of the country aren't really affected by it as much as others.
Yeah.
In San Diego, it's pretty bad because we are a border city. I was told that, I guess in Chicago, which I was assuming because it's a big major city, that it would have a fentanyl problem as well. But I guess it's not the same as I was told. But yeah, I just wanted to spread my message all over the country and the world. I have friends, from different countries.
Nice.
That love this,
Yeah.
UK, Australia, France now.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you said your drug of choice was black tar heroin.
Black tar. Yeah.
And so obviously one doesn't just start doing black tar heroin. So like, I don't really know your story. I'd love to hear it.
Sure.
So
okay.
So like, what was your childhood like growing up?
Yeah, for sure. Okay. So I grew up in a long line of alcoholics and addicts. My dad's side particularly, the alcoholism runs very, very deep. I think I'm like the 6th or 7th generation from what I'm gathering.
Yeah.
And let's see. In my mom's side, it's more of the drugs addiction. And when I was a kid, I was kind of around drugs a little bit. My mom's brother, my uncle, is a meth addict, and my parents were kind of young, so they were living with my grandparents, and my uncle was there. And there was an incident where, many incidences, but the big one was when my uncle kind of going through some psychosis with methamphetamine. He put a knife on my mom.
Wow.
And my dad lost it, and he, I was just playing around as a kid, being a kid. My dad just grabs me, and that was like his just telling me that we're not fucking with this family anymore. Your uncle is a drug addict, and he was kind of just painting the portrait of what drugs do to people. And my dad kind of definitely developed a resentment, a deep one with my uncle, but he cut ties with my whole mom's family.
Okay. And so your mom and dad, did they split or?
No, he took my mom with him. And we lived ironically, we lived pretty close. My dad was actually a law enforcement officer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He retired at that point. Well, it was a stint, really. He just, it was his childhood dream to be a cop, and it didn't work out. He wasn't really, I guess, informative of how things were done with law enforcement, and he wanted to move on to other things, but he still had kind of like that cop mentality still.
Yeah.
And so he took me, my family went to go live in some apartments. We kind of bounced around a little bit from Chula Vista. And my dad kind of just painted this portrait of drugs, like if you do drugs, you're going to go to jail and you're going to be pretty much a loser. And my dad kind of was, I guess kind of a square. He wanted me to do good in school and stuff like that. And
was he drinking?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
My dad, yes, he indulged.
Yeah.
And my dad actually, and I found this out later on in life after he had passed away, but my dad also indulged in prescription medications.
Okay.
My dad never did an illegal drug in his life.
Okay.
Never smoked pot. Never. I think at one point it was discussed he was going to do it, but he didn't do it.
Yeah.
And so my dad like always kind of paint the portrait on illegal drugs, but not necessarily like the stuff that's more socially acceptable. And my dad, from what I was hearing, kind of definitely abused it. Especially the prescription drugs. He would, go to multiple doctors and go to Mexico and get some stuff.
Yeah.
And because I always knew my dad wasn't really doing well. I could tell his health was deteriorating.
Yeah.
And he spoke very openly about he knew he was going to pass away very young. And my dad passed away when I was 10 in 2000.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, August 18th. Tomorrow's the 23rd anniversary.
Okay. That's my mom's birthday.
Oh, is it really?
Wow. Very interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And my dad passed away from a heart attack. He just took too
How
much.
old was he?
33.
33.
Same age as I am.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really young.
Yeah. I didn't really think about it because when I was a kid, he seemed like to be a man. He was a full grown man. But now that I'm where I'm at right now in my life, I just I trip out on it. Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was just you and your mom after that?
Yeah. Me, my mom, and my sister.
Okay. It was your younger sister?
Younger sister.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so was your mom using at this time?
My mom actually was not. She suffered with mental health, after my dad's passing, for sure. But she was not using.
Okay.
She was actually probably, I would say, one of the few normies in my mom's family.
Yeah.
But my mom raised me, and it was kind of tough, being a single mom and to raise two kids. And I wish I kind of had a little bit more compassion for her at the time when this all was going down. But, I guess I was just not, I knew my dad was going to die pretty early on, but I didn't know what life would be like without a dad.
Yeah.
Without that male role model.
Right. And so that obviously took you down that road.
Yes,
right?
yes, yeah.
Where you started numbing and finding acceptance in other ways.
Yeah.
How did it start? Were you smoking weed? Were you drinking or
alcohol? Just a few beers. Like my dad's brother and his father, they definitely indulge in alcohol. I don't want to diagnose them as alcoholics because I don't think we should do that.
Right.
But my uncle actually would say he would say he was an alcoholic. So they were drinking. My grandpa had a bar, and it's like a pretty nice looking, luxurious bar. And I indulged a few beers, and I didn't like the feeling of it. I didn't like the taste of it. I was kind of let down, to be honest. I thought alcohol was going to be like this alcohol was going to be like this, amazing like elixir that makes you feel amazing.
Right.
And it wasn't like that. I was just like, oh, okay, whatever. And I think I only drank because I just wanted to be validated by them. Like I'm a man now.
Yeah. How old were you?
13.
Yeah. Okay.
And growing up later on, I definitely was kind of more, I guess, all the trying to find that void of finding a positive role model.
Yeah.
I found it in older kids and older men, obviously, and some of them were in not really living in high standards of society. They were, in gangs, in and out of jail and in prison and all that.
And you gravitated to those guys.
I gravitated to that for sure.
Yeah.
And when so maybe I think I was 14 or I started smoking weed. I liked weed a little bit more. I kind of became a little stoner, and just doing it around my high school friends and stuff like that. And when I was 15, I got introduced to cocaine, and I love cocaine. That was fun.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that would have been my second drug of choice. And
Yeah.
I really, because I'm naturally a shy person,
Mm-hmm.
Reserved. And when I was on cocaine, it was really easy just to
Be social,
be
right?
social.
Yeah.
Yes.
Confidence.
Yes.
Do anything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, totally. That's why that's why I loved cocaine, and I've used it for some time.
And were you going to school? I mean, did you
Oh, yeah.
finish high school and all that?
I
So
did.
you're just like recreationally using at this time,
Yeah.
partying with your friends.
Yeah, partying with my friends.
No big deal.
No
Got it
big-
under control.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the great illusion of it.
Right.
That kind of made it hard for me to get sober even earlier. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, I was handling business,
Mm-hmm.
and and it was all fun. There was nobody was dying. Nobody, there was jails and stuff, YA and juvie, but I hadn't got into that system yet. Just some of my friends, and when and at 15, it was kind of like the first time. And so I had my mom's family. There are some heroin addicts, but they had already passed away from overdoses. And so I never even knew them. I don't even know their names.
Okay.
Like I just know they exist.
Yeah.
I know one of the their brothers is alive and sober, but that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I never really been around heroin. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't understand it, to be honest. I thought it was kind of it just didn't look like fun. It looked like it was kind of gross and sketchy, and I didn't know why people would like to live like that.
Yeah.
With heroin. So, but I seen them do. My friends, they were all shooting up, and they're full on addicts. They were a little bit older than me, and they offered it to me, and I turned it down. It was pretty easy, a pretty easy no at the time. And when I was 17, I was about to finish up high school. I was on my senior year. I just kind of finally got a little curious, and I gave in to peer pressure, and I did my first issue. It was already cooked up and ready to go, and I fucking loved it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love the feeling of opiates, and I just felt like the universe finally aligned and things making sense, and I felt like my brain was just wired. I have to always be on that.
Yeah.
I was hooked on the first.
And that's the
one.
crazy thing because I used opiates as well, and had the same response to it. That and Adderall and Xanax. I had the same response to all three of those, but it's interesting because it's such a false sense of reality, and I want everybody to know that, because we talk about this and it was like, wow, this was so great. Yeah. And it was great, but it wasn't reality. You can't maintain it, and it's going to fucking kill you. Yeah. But in the moment we're like, this is the cure. This is what I've needed. This is God, essentially. Yes. So yeah. So it was good until it wasn't good.
It was good until it wasn't.
Yeah. And how long were you using it for?
Overall 6 years. After my first shot, I bounced around from it, just kind of dabbled with it, like on the weekends, weekend warrior, and then it just turned into full on heroin addiction.
Yeah.
For 3 years.
And did your mom know? I mean, were you living at home still?
I hid it. Well, they definitely knew I was up to something. They definitely knew that things weren't all right with me.
Yeah.
But they just didn't know straight heroin. And so when I was 20 years old, I was like already 3 years into my run. I had a job. I was handling business, but my life was totally out of fucking control.
Yeah.
It was just the best way to describe it in those 3 years was like I just had a double life, where I was just like, this young guy just trying to work and, try to socialize with friends, but probably like that's what I wanted people to think. But really, I was just hanging out with fucking low lives and gang members, and fucking I got really involved in gangs towards that end too, and also just around homeless people, just whatever.
Yeah.
Anybody that was a complete low life that wanted nothing better for himself, that's who I wanted to hang out with. I did not want to hear any sort of recovery talk or sobriety talk.
Yeah. And was anyone trying to have that conversation with you?
No.
Did anyone really know what was going on besides the people that you were doing it with?
God, yeah, no, just the people I was getting high with.
Yeah. Where were you working?
Construction.
Okay.
I did demolition.
Okay.
And prepping floors for installers and stuff
So it
like
was
that.
easy to get away with it there.
Very easy.
Yeah.
It was very easy. And I enjoyed it. The chase. I love the chase. I always say that. Like I love being a liar. I love being a cheat and a thief. I love getting one over on people and just playing this little game.
Yeah.
And
that's that addict brain.
It's that addict brain.
Yeah.
I know it's okay. And I loved it more, just as much as I loved the dope. The dope was just like the climax.
Yeah.
And it all came to an end. I was hanging out with my friend Ghost, and he just got out of prison, and I was like, cooking up my shot, and I was like, I already was high, but I've just like pushed, pressing it to the next level.
Yeah.
And he went outside. The cops were out, and I guess they saw him, and he got scared, and he ran to me. And so I had to run. I dropped my all my shit. I'm like, God, okay. I jumped out of his grandma's window, and I ran down this baseball field. It was funny because the time it was like during the Little League World Series, the Chula Vista team had just gotten in there.
Okay.
So it was like all this cool stuff going on. But at the nighttime, we were all like doing this.
Yeah.
And then so we ran. I ran. And me and him both got caught. My other friend that was with us hid in a puddle. He got away. And so I caught my case, and it was my first time. So I kind of knew a little bit about the system from my friends, but I didn't really know the full blown like details until I got to live it.
Yeah.
And I went through my first heroin, like full blown heroin withdrawals. Because I would, obviously I'd be sick. I wake up sick every day, but
then you use.
Yeah, it's been that high. But yeah, so that first, when I caught my case, I fully kicked. I told them I'm a heroin addict, and they just give you diarrhea medicine, and I didn't know like they'd only give you like stuff to help you when you say you're an alcoholic. So I learned the hard. So I fully just kicked cold turkey. And I thought I was gonna die.
Yeah.
And I they let me out. They what is it called? OR'd. They OR'd me. And but I actually just kind of came clean about it when I was in the county. I thought I was going to prison because I was affiliated with people. We were doing all sorts of stupid shit.
Yeah.
And I just got super lucky that I got away with as much as I did, honestly. And
yeah.
So I just came clean. I was like, yeah, I was doing heroin and hanging out with these guys.
And you told your mom that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Told my mom, told my boss.
Were you in the mindset then that you knew you had a problem? I mean, were you in acceptance of that?
I knew I had a problem, but I didn't want to do anything about it. That was the problem. So I recognized that, I got myself in this world of shit, but was I really willing to do anything about it? No, I didn't. I wasn't. So I got out. They OR'd me, family intervention stuff, all that, the whole works. And then they kind of talked me into going to rehab, my first one. And I just agreed because I didn't really have nowhere else to go. And I didn't want to go back to jail. So I went to this program that wasn't really very respected in the recovery community, but I had no idea what rehab was about. Yeah. I'd never been to one. And I don't think I even knew that. I knew one person that went to rehab before, but that was it. And because I was still 20, I was young. And this place was like one of those kind of like court mandated places that will send the biggest low lives at. Yeah. It wasn't like 30-day like trip to Malibu type
right.
shit. It was called HOM. It's right there in Southeast San Diego. So I'm there, and there's a lot of people that don't want to change, and there was a lot of drugs in that place. So that's what kind of kept me comfortable being in there. I stayed on drugs while I was there, and I actually did OxyContin for my first time in that treatment center, and Suboxone. It's like whatever I can get my hands on to stay high. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
And I got out of there, caught more cases because I didn't learn nothing.
Yeah.
Just kept out doing the same thing. And it got really, really bad. You know, I didn't, I just kept living off my family. And I had all this stuff going on with the courthouse where it, you know, all of it racks up, and they want to see progress, and I wasn't giving them that. And you know, I guess in 2012, 2012, August 16th, I finally decided to check into rehab. It was so from that time on, from 2011 to this, like, you know, I did nothing, absolutely nothing to make my situation in court better, and I wasn't trying to get clean.
Yeah.
So this time, August 16th, 2012, I got clean for the first time in my life. Where I just was like, okay, I got to do something.
Yeah. Had you surrendered at that point, or?
I did. Yeah. Well, because, you know, it was like pretty much like there was a lot of jail time I was looking at, and a prison term. And it was kind of like one of those things. I knew I had nothing going on. Like I didn't have a job. I was just mooching off my family, mooching off my friends for dope. And it had to be done. Like I knew that something had to give.
Yeah.
And I still had that addict mentality though, where I still wanted to cut the corners.
Right.
And it got to the point though, because when I had like it was like 2 more weeks to go, like before that I actually had to go back to court, and I had burned out all my bridges from all these rehabs to you know, on their waiting list. I'd go going on, and I'd just fuck it off. So I went to one of San Diego's most hardest programs, and it's a behavior modification program.
Okay.
Yeah, no
those
joke.
are gnarly. Explain to everybody what those are.
Oh, hi everyone. Behavior modification is a program that pretty much enforces a lot of rules and has therapeutic groups, like encounter groups, to call you out on your defects of character and your behavior so you can work on them. And you're not allowed to defend yourself and your actions. You have to just sit down like this, post it up, and say thank you after everyone calls you out.
There's some that are pretty gnarly. There's one up in LA where the guys have to like shave their heads, and they have to wear the same outfit every day. And
I couldn't shave my head, but yeah, you have to be clean cut.
Clean cut, yeah.
Shave.
Yeah.
It's like the military. It's like boot camp.
Yeah. And did it help you?
No. Well, I got a lot of knowledge. I learned a lot.
Okay.
I learned a lot.
You planted seeds. They
planted
seeds.
They did.
Okay.
There was I didn't enjoy the process, so it was definitely a reservation still inside me, and I just don't think I was done, and I had doubts, and I was also skeptical because you know, they do want you to go there. It wasn't 12 steps or anything like that, but they do want you to do that. And I was not a fan of 12 steps, particularly because the God word was in there, and I did not like that. And they say, oh, pick a doorknob or a rock or some random thing you can pick as a higher power, but I didn't like that. I just found it to be manipulation, and I thought it was kind of a cult. So I didn't do a step. I just kind of just wanted to graduate my rehab and then carry on with my life. And so when I got out of there, like a day later, I walked 5 miles to a homeless encampment called the Jungle, and I shot up heroin again. And when I was walking there, I was like kind of in denial that I just wanted this one shot, and I was gonna tell on myself after. That was my line of thinking. I was gonna tell myself I'm gonna do this one issue, and I'm gonna tell on myself, and then I'll get clean again.
Yeah.
But it didn't work out that way.
Yeah. And so you're out for how long again after that?
3 months.
3 months. And then after that time, was it the final time
Yes.
that you got sober? And so what got you sober the last time?
I was arrested again.
You were arrested. Okay.
They caught me.
And did you go to prison this time?
Oh, it was break off time.
Yeah.
They gave me two options pretty much. They told me to, actually technically 3. It was prison, do 5 years, which I wasn't actually against, because I had such low self-esteem in myself, and I knew, like, I didn't truly heartedly believe that I can change my life, so I wasn't against prison. And the other 2 were drug court, which I've had a lot of friends do that, and they all fail, and it's strict, and it's one of those things too. They call you out on your shit a lot, and I just was like, nope, I'm not. I know I won't make it. And also they let you out in your neighborhood too. So I had a South Bay case, so I knew I had to stay in South Bay, and I just thought it was just a setup.
So what did you finally do?
The third option. Well, there was a little story behind this. So the third option was to go to rehab again and do some county time, and then do 3 years of probation. I didn't want that option at first. My ego was very broke when I got caught again, because I was 3 months away from getting off probation. Even though I, didn't do very much, it was just so much dead time in between these cases that when I graduated, fucking crash, I was almost off. And because I got caught again, I had to do the whole thing all over again. So my ego was very broken, and I decided to go to trial. And I pretty much was giving my public pretenders a hard time, and they my rep, this guy that was an inmate, just pretty much was like, hey, look, you need to give it another try. You need to go to treatment. And we went through the applications and all that, and so that's what I ended up signing.
Okay.
Go to rehab again.
Yeah, and that time it worked.
And this time it worked. It was a AA 12-step rehab.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you next. So getting into solution, into the positive, turning your life around. The 12 steps worked for you.
Yeah,
of Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I fought like hell. I fought like hell not to do it,
but once you finally surrendered to the process, right? You're in acceptance of it.
Yes.
Had the willingness.
Yes.
Yeah. What did you learn the most doing the steps?
Oh man. I always found the when I got comfortable with the God word and having a higher power, that actually, I felt like the second step was actually, I felt like was the one that finally, I felt comfortable finally doing all the rest of them.
Yeah.
My first conception of a higher power was a brown chocolate Labrador that just lived at that rehab. I was like, okay, I'll make him my higher power. I like him. Makes me happy.
Yeah.
And then eventually it kind of evolved into more of like the universe has a bigger picture for me, and everything happens for a reason. All of it, the good and the bad. And I lived with heroin addiction for 6 years, and already a couple of my friends were dying from heroin, especially towards the end. It was more like kind of like that last year of it, so I was like, well, I'm still here, I'm still alive. And, I'm another friend got life, and I was just like, you know what, I have to do something, or if I just keep doing the same thing, I'm dead. And that's really it. I'm dead.
Yeah. So you rebuilt your life over the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so everything's good with your family. You have a career. What do you do for a living?
I'm in demolition
Okay, nice.
And then I do the clothing brand
Yeah.
in my spare time.
So the clothing brand, I mean, we were pretty much talk about this on every other episode, but
Yeah.
having that like passion project or
Yeah.
something that like fills your cup, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that obviously was it for you, giving back to the community,
Yeah.
bringing awareness.
Yeah.
How did that start though? Like, what was the idea where you're like, you know what, we're gonna do this? Fuck fentanyl.
Oh, okay. So, you know, part of my story is I did have, you know, I've been sober. I just looked at my thing before I got here. 10 years, 5 months, and 10 days.
Amazing. Congratulations.
Yeah, March 5th, 2013.
It's a big deal.
Yeah. So during that run, I had a lot of complacency for sure, where, you know, I was a little dialed in, going to meetings and working on myself and stuff like that. So, my best friend passed away December 14th, 2021.
Okay. From fentanyl?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or from, it wasn't, I didn't get the paperwork on fentanyl.
Overdose.
Yeah, it was an overdose.
Okay.
100%. Though.
Yeah.
And two of my other friends did die from fentanyl, like using friends, you know, and had died around the same time. Matter of fact, one of them passed away during my best friend's service.
Oh, wow.
Funeral service. So it was like such a short period of time.
Yeah. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. And when all this was going on, I decided to go back to meetings again and get a new sponsor and work on the steps again, because I was just in a really spiritually broken place.
Yeah.
With the grieving. And I guess I always felt like, you know, since I did have a little bit of time, you know, I think it would help out if, you know, if I start showing up, and maybe it could help save somebody if you know, that is struggling
right
the same way I struggled. You know, because that's the thing, when you don't do service, you know, you're just kind of being a little selfish.
Yeah, exactly.
So I started coming back to meetings, and I saw the artist that did the first Fuck Fentanyl logo that you're wearing. I saw his art, and I really just loved it, because I grew up with punk, and I love tagging and all that. So I hit him up, and I told him, I really love your art, dude. You know, I know some people that passed away from it. I'm in recovery, and I just like I totally would love to spread this. And he was really, really cool. He got back at me, and he gave me a bunch of stickers, and he said I could put his art on a T-shirt.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that's how it started.
And that's how it started.
Very,
Spider-Man.
very cool.
Shout out to Spider-Man.
Spider-Man in the house. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, right on. So where can people buy this clothing?
Right now, you can. I have an Etsy page.
Okay.
I'm in the process of making a website,
Okay.
probably through Shopify or something like that. But yeah, I have an Etsy page, and it's all linked up to my Instagram. Fuck
Okay.
Fentanyl San Diego.
Fuck Fentanyl San Diego.
Yes.
And then you do a yearly event too, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That just started last month.
Nice.
Yeah, in Ocean Beach.
So it will be in July, right?
Yes.
Of next year.
Next year.
And you'll post that up on your
Oh, yeah.
Instagram and
Oh,
all
yeah.
that. And if people need to reach out, if they need support, if they just want to talk to you, you
Yeah.
know, maybe they're down in your area, they're struggling.
Of course.
Do you give out your number, or
Yes.
do you want to give out your number to anybody that's
Sure.
looking to talk to you?
Yeah. If anyone wants to talk to me, my phone number is 619-831-5994.
Amazing. Well, thanks for what you do in the community.
Yeah.
And fuck fentanyl.
And fuck fentanyl.
I'm glad you're doing this down in San Diego.
Yes.
We're
thank
going to
you.
come down there. Let's make a day of it. We'll come
Yes.
down, and maybe we'll do some outreach work together and
Yes.
sport the gear and spread the word.
Yes, absolutely.
All
And I'd
right.
love to do some stuff here in Orange County.
For sure. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And thanks for recovering out loud.
Of course. Mando.
All right. Well, thanks, you guys. We'll see you next time.
All right.
Fuck fentanyl.
Thank you. Fuck fentanyl.